Karma isn't coming for you. It's growing inside you. They told you karma would come for you, that it waits like a shadow behind your wrongs, like a cosmic tax collector, tracking every misstep, every selfish thought, every lie. But what if karma doesn't wait? What if it doesn't come for you at all? What if karma grows inside you, silently day after day, choice after choice? You see, karma isn't thunder. It's not lightning, not justice raining down on cheaters or liars or manipulators. It's not your ex getting fired. It's not your enemy losing followers. It's not divine revenge. It's reflection. It's accumulation. It's who you quietly become when no one is watching. It's your habits, your self-talk, your internal tone. It's the way you walk past someone struggling without offering help, and slowly, over time, become the kind of person who can't see pain anymore. It's the way you brush off your guilt, bury your shame and call it growth, when really, you're just stacking new stories on top of the old rot. Karma doesn't knock on your door. It moves into your house. It redecorates your thoughts. It changes the people you attract, the opportunities you lose, the self you no longer recognize when it's 3 a.m. and the noise stops. Karma isn't cosmic justice, it's impersonal momentum. And the hardest part? Most people will never notice it happening. Not until it's too loud to ignore. Not until they've burned the bridge they built themselves. Not until they're alone wondering how they got here. So if you think karma is about punishment, this episode might shake you. Because karma doesn't come to break you. It comes to become out you. And when you see that, to really see it, everything you do next will change. Because now you know the way out is not waiting for good things to come back around. The way out is to become someone who no longer creates what you want to escape. The invisible thread, how karma weaves into everyday life. Let's drop the lightning bolts and the dramatic revenge fantasies. Karma is not a movie scene. It's not loud. It's not theatrical. It doesn't wait to catch you in the act and drag you into some cosmic courtroom. Karma is what you do when no one's looking. It's the breath you hold back when someone disrespects you. The anger you swallow without questioning where it came from. The compliment you don't give because you're afraid it makes you look weak. Karma is how you speak when you're tired. How you treat people who can't help you. What you do when the easy thing and the right thing are standing side by side, and you get to choose. It's not fate. It's feedback. It's the echo of 1,000 tiny choices you didn't even realize you were making. You think it's just your personality, but it's not. It's layers. Built. Lived. Locked in. You weren't born impatient. You rehearsed impatience every time you interrupted someone. You weren't born cynical. You practiced distrust until it hardened into your bones. And now it's so deep in you, you don't even notice it anymore. You just call it me, but it's not you. It's the karma you've accumulated. And the most haunting part, it's not just inside you. It's around you. In your relationships. In the way people respond to you. In the doors that stay closed and the ones that open. People don't react to your intentions. They react to your energy, your patterns, your karma. If you constantly attract disrespect, maybe it's not just bad luck. Maybe you've silently trained the world how to treat you. By never speaking up, by laughing it off, by pretending it doesn't hurt. And slowly, you became someone who's easy to ignore. Karma doesn't just live in the sky. It lives in your tone of voice. Your posture, the way you respond when things don't go your way. Think about this. When was the last time you said yes when you meant no? That wasn't just people-pleasing. That was karma in motion. You told the universe, I am someone who sacrifices peace to avoid discomfort. And the universe believed you. So it sent you more chances to do it again. Because karma isn't punishment, it's rehearsal. And whatever you rehearse, you become the repetition that becomes you. There's something nobody tells you growing up. You don't become yourself all at once. You become yourself through repetition, not through what you believe, not through what you want, but through what you do over and over, without even thinking. You can repeat self-sabotage so many times, it starts to look like personality. You can avoid hard conversations so often, it becomes your identity. And here's the terrifying truth. Most people don't know they're shaping themselves until it's too late. Until the pattern is so thick, so heavy, that trying to change feels like betrayal, not growth. You say, that's just how I am, but it's not how you are. It's how you've rehearsed on being. Karma isn't something that happens to you after the fact. It's something that happens while you act. It's being written while you sit in silence instead of speaking your truth. It's forming while you blame someone else instead of facing your own reflection. Every time you choose pride over humility, you reinforce a version of you that's harder to unbecome tomorrow. Every time you scroll to avoid your feelings, you're programming yourself to escape and calling it peace. This is why karma isn't just cause and effect. It's cause and identity. The small decision becomes the repeated behavior. The repeated behavior becomes the automatic response. The automatic response becomes your lifestyle, and your lifestyle becomes your story. And here's the thing about stories. They don't need to be true. They just need to be repeated enough. We are all living in stories we didn't mean to write. Stories built from wounds we didn't mean to carry, from habits we didn't know we were practicing. That's karma. Not just the loop you're stuck in, but the loop you don't even know is spinning. Until you wake up and say, wait, who is this version of me I've rehearsed into existence? Because if you're not paying attention, you won't just repeat your habits. You'll repeat your parents, your past, your pain, and you'll pass it on. That's karma too. It's not about guilt, it's about transmission. What you don't transform, you transmit. And if you're not careful, the version of you were trying to outgrow will become the version of you that raises the next generation. That's how karma grows. Not by curse, by copy. A story. The man who mistook karma for bad luck. Let me tell you a story. It's not about someone famous or someone perfect. It's about someone like you. Let's call him Thomas. Thomas wasn't a bad person. He didn't steal. He didn't cheat. He said thank you and please and paid his bills on time. But Thomas was tired. Tired of being overlooked. Tired of being passed up for promotions. Tired of being in relationships where he gave more than he got. He called it bad luck. Said things like, nice guys always finish last. Or some people are just born lucky. He said those things so often they became his comfort, his shield, his story. But here's what Thomas didn't realize. He had karma, not the kind that punishes, the kind that repeats. You see, every time Thomas stayed quiet when someone crossed his boundaries, he taught the world that his voice didn't matter. Every time he apologized for someone else's behavior, he reinforced a pattern. I'm the fixer. I make excuses for pain. Every time he said yes when he meant no, he slowly erased his own lines until no one knew where he began or ended. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened. One day Thomas woke up and didn't recognize himself. He had become agreeable, predictable, forgettable, and in that forgettableness, he began to feel invisible. That's karma, not punishment, but repetition without awareness, not consequences, but constructions. Thomas wasn't cursed. He was conditioned by himself, not because he wanted to suffer, but because he never questioned the pattern he was rehearsing. He thought, if I'm kind, life will reward me. But kindness without boundaries isn't virtue. It's self-erasure. He thought, if I'm humble, people will respect me. But humility without a backbone looks like silence. He thought, if I just keep giving, I'll finally receive. But giving from emptiness only attracts more takers. That's karma too. You become what you tolerate. You attract what you repeat. And eventually, you become what you avoid. One night, after yet another failed relationship, Thomas sat alone in his apartment. Same four walls, same questions, same ache. But that night, something cracked. Maybe it was exhaustion, maybe grace. But he looked at himself in the mirror and didn't ask, why does this keep happening to me? He asked, what if it's not happening to me at all, but through me? And that question changed everything. Because for the first time, Thomas saw karma not as revenge, but as a reflection. Not as something that comes later, but as something he was carrying now. And in that moment, he realized something even deeper. He didn't need luck. He needed alignment. Karma hiding in the everyday, habits that haunt you silently. Not all karma is loud. Some of it wears a suit. Some of it holds a smile. Some of it says, I'm fine when you're falling apart. Karma doesn't always show up in chaos. Sometimes it hides in what you normalize, like the way you check your phone the second silence enters a room, or the way you say it's okay before you even process if it actually is, or how you never cry, not because you're strong, but because you've forgotten how to feel. These aren't quirks, they're patterns, and patterns are how karma hides, not in punishments, but in personality traits you didn't choose, but slowly became. Let's get honest. How many apologies have you given that weren't yours to give? How often do you laugh at jokes that hurt you? Because you don't want to make it awkward? How many friendships have you kept alive simply because the idea of absence scares you more than disrespect? That's karma too. The echo of choices you made before you knew you had any. And here's the kicker. Most of your karma isn't from big sins. It's from silent agreements. The ones you make with fear, with shame, with your own past. You tell yourself, this is just how life is. This is what love looks like. This is the best I'll get. And karma listens. It takes notes. It shapes your day. It decides who enters your life based on who you've silently agreed to be. The universe doesn't send you what you want. It sends you what you're available for. So if you're wondering why certain types of people keep finding you, why the same pain keeps returning in different costumes, why the same lessons keep knocking louder each time, it's not because you're cursed, it's because you're consistent. Consistent in your avoidance, consistent in your silence, consistent in your self-forgetting. This is why changing your life isn't about sudden moves. It's about breaking small rituals of self-abandonment. It's about catching yourself mid-apology and asking, wait, what am I apologizing for? It's about ending a conversation that feels wrong, without explanation. It's about giving your energy only where your integrity can stay intact. Because karma isn't just who you are now, it's who you're allowing yourself to keep being. Karma isn't punishment, it's potential waiting for a new choice. Here's what most people get wrong. Karma isn't there to shame you. It's there to wake you. It's not saying you deserve this. It's saying you've rehearsed this. And the moment you see that, really see it, you unlock the one power karma can't resist. It's a choice, guys, because karma may repeat, but it never demands. It offers. And every moment, you get a choice, react or respond, repeat or release, sleepwalk or wake up. Every time you pause, every time you choose curiosity instead of judgment, kindness instead of performance, stillness instead of escape, you interrupt karma's pattern, not by force, but by presence. Let's make this practical. You want to shift your karma? Don't wait for a grand gesture. Start here. 1. Catch the loop. Notice the moment you're about to react. The old way, pause. Even 2 seconds is enough. Don't name the pattern. This is the moment I usually shut down. This is where I go silent to keep the peace. This is when I self-sabotage. 3. Choose a 1-degree shift. You don't have to flip the script. Just write a new sentence. Repeat the new pattern. Once, twice, again, karma learns. 2. You don't have to earn good karma. You just have to stop building the kind you don't want. Karma is momentum. Shift the angle, and eventually, the whole direction changes. Even if you spent years spiraling, a single new habit can plant a seed so powerful, the entire cycle starts to unwind. That's not magic. That's mastery. That's karma seeing you choose and stepping back to let you evolve. So don't just hope life gets better. Interrupt it, guide it, wake up inside it. Because karma isn't coming to get you. It's waiting for you to come get yourself. From thought to fate, the Eastern law of becoming. There's a proverb from the East. You may have heard a version of it. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. Simple, right? Too simple. And that's why most people ignore it. But this one idea holds more power than 1,000 motivational speeches. Because it explains something most people never connect. Your future doesn't begin with what you do. It begins with what you allow yourself to think. Let's break that down. 1. Sow a thought, reap an action. Every external move begins with an internal whisper. That quick flash of, I can't do this. That tiny resentment when a friend gets what you wanted. That silent judgment of yourself in the mirror. You don't say it, you don't write it, you don't post it, but it grows, and sooner or later it becomes a decision. the text you don't send, the opportunity you don't take, the boundary you don't set. That's karma. The thoughts you didn't challenge became the actions you didn't notice. 2. Sow an action, reap a habit. You avoid one conversation, feels fine, feels peaceful. You avoid another, still fine. Soon avoidance feels normal, and karma grows, not as punishment, but as patterns. Now your brain has learned silence, hue, safety. Even when truth or healing, you've trained yourself to fear your own voice, and every day you rehearse silence, you become less of who you truly are. 3. Sow a habit, reap a character. This is where most people wake up, if they ever do. They don't like who they've become. Too passive, too reactive, too cold, too attached. They say that's just how I am. But no, it's how you've practiced being. Over months, years, unconsciously. Your karma is no longer a habit. It's your personality. 4. Sow a character, reap a destiny. This is the part that hurts. Not because it's cruel, but because it's honest. Your thoughts, left unchecked, became the life you didn't mean to live. The relationships you settled for, the peace you outsourced, the boundaries you never built. And now, it feels like fate. But it was always feedback. You didn't deserve this life. You created it, slowly, through choices too small to feel important. And here's the twist. You can still shift it. Because just like thoughts became destiny, new thoughts birth new destinies. You don't have to change everything today. Just start with the next thought. Interrupt it, challenge it, redirect it. Karma is not fixed. It's flexible. And the most powerful karma is the one you start shaping right now. With just one thought that says, I am not my past. I am what I choose next. A tale of two karmas, two lives, two patterns. Let me show you how karma plays out. Not as theory, but as real life. Let me introduce you to two people. We'll call them Clare and Jonah. They've never met. Different cities, different lives, but both living out the karma they've built. One silently healing, the other silently hurting. Clare, the one who chose presence. Clare works in a crowded hospital. Nurses, stress, life and death urgency. She's not the fastest, not the smartest, not the loudest. But Clare has something else. She listens. She takes 20 seconds longer with each patient. She remembers names. She asks about their kids. She calls people by who they are, not what they're sick with. Years ago, Clare's mother passed in a hospital. No one held her hand. No one said goodbye. Clare decided she'd never let that happen again, if she could help it. So every day she shows up not just with skill, but with presence. And here's the thing. No one notices at first. No one gives awards for kindness in 20-second doses. But karma notices, and quietly, slowly, the right people begin to see her. A patient's family sends her a letter, years later. A co-worker opens up. You're the only one I trust. A student nurse shadows her and finds their purpose. Clare doesn't go viral. She goes deep. Her karma isn't loud, but it is felt seen every day. Jonah, the one who chose performance. Now meet Jonah. High-level exec. Sharp suits, tight calendar, endless goals. Jonah gets results, raises millions, crushes meetings, but he crushes people too. Not violently, quietly. He interrupts, mocks interns, rolls his eyes at people who need too much time. He calls it efficiency, but it's fear. Years ago, Jonah's dad told him, feelings make you weak. Don't be soft. So Jonah built a fortress of success. Polished, efficient, respected, but lonely. People fear him. Partners tolerate him. No one knows him. And karma? Karma made him rich, but restless. Every night he lies awake scrolling. Not because he's curious, because silence terrifies him. He's addicted to forward, but his soul is stuck. And here's the twist. Jonah doesn't know he's hurting, because his karma looks like winning. But winning without warmth is just isolation dressed in Gucci. And deep down, he feels it. The missed calls, the unspoken apology, the son he doesn't know how to hug. That's karma too. Two lives, two choices, two energies. Clare's karma is invisible, but it spreads. Jonah's karma is visible, but it isolates. One chose to heal through presence. The other chose to protect through power. Neither is evil. Both are human. But karma doesn't judge. It reflects. And every day, it asks the same quiet question. What are you becoming by how you're living? That's karma's final exam. And you answer it, not in what you post, but in what you repeat when no one claps. Karma in the collective. You shape the field around you. Karma is often seen as personal. But here's the deeper truth. Karma ripples. Your energy doesn't stop at your skin. It radiates. It impacts. It builds the field around you. And others feel it even if they don't know why. You felt it before. You walk into a room, no one says a word, but you feel the tension. Or peace, or love, or shame. That's collective karma. Every unspoken resentment left to rot. Every quiet forgiveness left to bloom. Every micro decision we think is invisible is not. We shape the atmosphere we breathe. Let's bring it closer. You've had days where someone's kindness healed more than medicine, where someone's presence grounded you without a single word. That wasn't random. That was karma in motion, collective addition. Your thoughts don't just shape you. They shape us, which means your healing isn't selfish. It's service. Every time you choose to stop a pattern, you lighten the load. Every time you speak gently when it's easier to be harsh, you shift the norm. Every time you forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you do, you break the chain. We are all passing down karma, through tone, habits, silence, and you get to decide, will you pass down the pain you inherited, or will you be the one who breaks the pattern? Because karma multiplies, not instantly, but exponentially. And what you do today, how you show up, and how you react, how you love, it sets the emotional weather for the people who come after you. Your children, your partner, your co-workers, even the stranger who watches you treat a cashier like a human being. You are a karmic influence. Right now, right here. And when you realize that, your choices start to carry a different weight. Not guilt, not pressure, just power. The quiet kind, the sacred kind, the kind that understands, my peace doesn't end with me. It begins with me and echoes outward. Final loop. You are the answer to the karma you keep asking about. Let's come full circle. You started this journey asking, what is karma really? And somewhere inside, maybe you were hoping for an answer that would finally make sense of everything. The patterns, the heartbreak, the moments that felt unfair. Maybe you wanted to hear, yes, you were right to feel hurt. Yes, they'll get what's coming. Yes, karma will fix what you couldn't. But now you know, karma isn't about cosmic revenge. It's about recognition. It doesn't come to punish. It comes to reveal. It reveals who you've been becoming, what you've been believing, and what you've been repeating so quietly. You stopped hearing it echo. It shows up in the shape of your habits, the tone of your relationships, the emptiness in your distractions, the tension behind your smiles. And once you see it, truly see it, you have a choice, not to undo the past, but to break the loop. To become the kind of person who doesn't need life to teach the same lesson twice. That's karma mastery, not perfection, not sainthood, just unconscious repetition. Choosing again, and again, and again, until your habits are holy, your reactions are reverent, and your life feels like it was sculpted, not survived. So here's the truth I want to leave with you. I see you are not waiting for karma, you are creating it. With every thought you challenge, every boundary you honor, every cycle you interrupt, every kindness you choose even when no one claps. And someday, not today, maybe not next week, you will look around at your life and realize this peace, this alignment, this grounded joy, I built this, I became this. This is my karma now. And when that happens, you'll stop chasing justice because you'll be living it. The karma of self-deception, when you think you're fine but you're not. Not all karma comes from darkness. Sometimes it comes from denial, from the way you say I'm okay and almost believe it, from the way you laugh when you're lonely, from how you keep busy just enough to avoid asking, is this the life I actually want? Self-deception is one of karma's most subtle disguises. Because you think you're safe, you think you're in control. You've built a story that looks like strength, but it's made of avoidance. You post wisdom you don't live. You give advice you don't follow. You smile through things you should cry about. And karma doesn't punish that. It expands it. It repeats the lie until it becomes your identity. Let's be honest. You say you're chillless, but you're just conflict avoidant. You say you don't need anyone, but it's just easier than being disappointed again. You say you moved on, but you've never really faced what broke you. That's karma. Not because you're bad, but because the more you pretend, the harder it gets to come home to yourself. And here's the dangerous part. Self-deception looks functional. You're not addicted. You're not spiraling. You're not yelling. But you're empty, and you can't remember the last time you felt joy without explaining it away. Karma doesn't wait for a breakdown. It builds in the background. Until one day, you look around and realize your friends don't know the real you. Your partner only knows the polished version. Your life looks fine to bananas, but it fits like a costume. And that too is karma, not as pain, but as bad performance. It's the karma of forgetting yourself in plain sight. And the way out? Not a breakdown, not a grand awakening, just a return. To your breath, to your truth, to the part of you whispering beneath the noise. I'm not fine. I'm just familiar. That whisper, it's not weakness. It's your real self, asking to come home. And karma? Karma is what happens next. The woman who always gave until she disappeared. Her name was Elise. Everyone loved her. She was the go-to friend. The one who showed up with soup when you were sick. The one who stayed late at work to help finish your deadline. The one who never said no, even when her schedule was drowning her. And she didn't mind. That's what she told herself anyway. She called it love, kindness, service. She wore her generosity like a badge, but slowly it became a burden. You see, Elise never asked for help. She never complained. She never admitted when she was exhausted. Because somewhere deep inside she believed, if I stop giving, they'll stop loving. That was her karma. Not from a past mistake, but from a repeated belief. Love must be earned. Worth must be proven. Rest is weakness. And so she kept giving until her phone went quiet. Until her inbox overflowed with favors, not friendship. Until her mirror reflected someone she didn't recognize. Because karma doesn't always break you. Sometimes it erases you, not violently. But slowly, Elise wasn't destroyed. She disappeared. Under the weight of being good, being helpful, being whatever people needed, except herself. One day she forgot her own birthday. Not because no one remembered, but because she didn't. That was the moment she woke up. In the quiet, in the ache, in the realization that she had loved everyone, except the one person who needed her most. Herself. That day, Elise did something radical. She said no. To a friend, to a meeting, to guilt. And the world didn't end. No one hated her. No one left. But something did leave. Her karma, the one built on overgiving, over-pleasing, over-performing. She chose a new one that day. Built not on sacrifice, but on sovereignty. Because Elise finally realized, the love that needs me to abandon myself is not love, it's need. And karma? Karma applauded. Not with fireworks, but with peace. The first real peace she'd felt in years. Sometimes karma looks like pain, but it's just a wake-up call. Not all pain is punishment. Sometimes it's a whisper that grew tired of being ignored. Sometimes it's karma knocking louder, not to hurt you, but to wake you. Let's be real. Most people don't change when they're comfortable. They change when they're broken, humbled, exhausted. And that doesn't mean karma is cruel. It means karma is kind enough not to let you sleepwalk forever. Have you noticed? Your biggest growth didn't come after a win. It came after a wound. The betrayal that cracked your denial. The burnout that forced you to rest. The loss that made you rethink your entire definition of success. That's karma, not as payback, but as permission to begin again. It's easy to confuse discomfort with bad karma. But what if that discomfort is the beginning of your return? Return to what? To truth? To boundaries? To yourself? Sometimes the job ends, not because you failed, but because you stayed too long in a role that shrank you. Sometimes the friendship explodes, not because they were toxic, but because you were finally ready to stop betraying your peace. Sometimes your health crashes, not as punishment, but as the body's way of begging you to listen. That's not karma chasing you. That's karma saving you. Pain becomes punishment only when you refuse to listen. But if you do listen, if you stop, breathe, reflect, pain becomes the turning point, the portal, the chapter where everything you thought was falling apart was actually falling into place. You don't have to love the pain, but you can want to learn one from it. You can bow to it, and you can thank it, not for hurting you, but for loving you enough to shake you awake. So the next time something breaks, instead of asking, why me? Try asking, what is this trying to restore? Because sometimes the pain isn't karma catching up to you. It's your higher self, trying to catch you before you fall any further. Closing, you are the karma you create. Let's take a breath. We've talked about karma as repetition, as reflection, as construction, not punishment, not judgment, but a mirror held up to the self you quietly become every day. And maybe right now, you're thinking about all the patterns you've inherited, all the loops you've lived inside, all the moments you abandoned your voice, your truth, your peace. Let that sink in, but don't let it shame you. You are not your past. You are not your patterns. You are not the version of you that forgot their worth. You are the one who noticed, and that matters, because you can't change what you don't see. But the moment you see, you get to choose again. And that choice, that awareness, that one breath of space between reaction and response, that's where karma bends, not because the universe is watching, but because you are watching yourself now. And every time you act with integrity, every time you choose stillness over noise, compassion over projection, boundaries over guilt, you rewrite the script, not just for yourself, but for everyone watching you live differently. Your kids, your partner, your friends, the stranger in traffic, because just like karma ripples, so does healing, so does alignment, so does presence. You are not here to escape your karma. You are here to become sober conscious, so aligned and so true that your karma doesn't need to repeat, because you heard the message the first time. And now, you're walking differently, not perfectly, but intentionally. That's karma too, and it's beautiful.